Morning. Won't be morning for long here. I should read you. We'll have a banner day. All right, here we go. Scroll across the bottom. I love these banners. All right, it's Al Trucker here. Been having an interesting chat this morning. Had a little chat with our buddy Omnivore, who was visiting over at BSS on Sunday. I had a lot of fun over there, and then we had a bit of a chat this morning. Chat about the people that we talk to and that have what you might call bad or wrong ideas. And had me think that people have lots of ideas that they come across, and they say things, they do things based on what they think is right. He was talking about religion, his religion and his church, and how they treat people, and how it's better than many, much more reasonable. This is the right place for him to hang out. I'm not going to go into all the details. It wasn't really like a private chat, but it was, it wasn't broadcast or recorded for everyone to hear, I don't think. So let's talk. Let's talk about things people want to think about. I ended up not working today again. My rad's still not swapped out in my truck. So I'm staying home, but I've been super, super tired. I've been tired all weekend. I've been tired all day today. On the weekend, we had 2 family gatherings to go to. I felt very stressed. I felt like my family was stressed too. I felt like everybody was just beside themselves trying to do stuff. Hey, Top, working but listening. All right. Well, I'll try to entertain you. I'll try to regale you with some interesting tales. I'm working on having a good voice, a good radio voice. So yesterday, I took my daughter to the doctor, and I was checking in. Hey, Trusty Ape, good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't been able to follow one of your streams in a little while, but I often see you out there, and I join in for a short time. It's been a while, though. Things have been weird. Going back to work has been weird. Not working some days has been weird. The whole thing's been weird. I'm going to cut this one to a pretty short amount of time because I got to call the government office and find out my employment benefits. Because of course they're going to stop because I've been working, but I got to get the ones that I get. And they were closed yesterday for Remembrance Day. And I didn't really do a Remembrance Day talk too much yesterday. So I do want to say, it shouldn't just be once a year that you remember the people that fight for the security of ourselves and our countries and all that stuff. So I did take some time to pause and reflect on that, but I didn't do it online. I didn't do it on my stream. And perhaps I should. Perhaps I should have done that, and hopefully no one was offended that I did not. However, it is a day that's been known as Remembrance Day here in Canada. I think it's called Veterans Day in the U.S. It used to be called Armistice Day in some places. But it was a day on which I believe the First World War ended on that day, and they signed a treaty, and everything was better after that. We never had another war. Well, except for all the wars we have had. There are wars going on right now. It kind of sucks. It kind of sucks because people are fighting over what they think is right. You got to assume both sides think they're right. Even if the soldiers, the people on the ground, the people that are losing their lives may or may not agree with who sent them there. They have to go. They have to do what they're told. That's the way military works. It's kind of a fucked up thing. Follow your orders. And when I think about following orders, I think about there's a lovely young lady who sings songs that I enjoy. Casey Musgraves sings a song called "Follow Your Arrow." I don't know if she wrote it or if she just sings it, but I should look that up. But whoever wrote it wrote a very nice song. She sings it very well. She has a very melodic and slightly higher pitched voice, like not like a screechy higher pitched voice, but like a nice voice. A nice voice, not deep like my voice, which is, not necessarily what people want to hear, but people do tune in. I appreciate it. So yeah, and that song, it's kind of a country-ish sounding song. I like it though. I like that song a lot. Follow your arrow wherever you go. You know, basically go where you're going. Don't worry about what other people want for you. Don't worry about what other people tell you to do. Do what's right for you. Now, obviously, with a few caveats, like please don't hurt other people on the way if you can avoid it. We can't always avoid it. I mean, I sometimes think about things I've done that were maybe the right thing, but I didn't do them in the right way, or maybe I did the wrong thing the wrong way. Maybe I did the wrong thing the right way. It's fucked. When you if you spend your time thinking about the mistakes you've made and not just take something from them, then you're not really learning anything. But yeah, I feel sometimes very bad about mistakes I've made in my life, and I guess we all feel that way. But I thought today I try to be a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more ready to go. You know, yesterday I was a little cynical. I was a little I might have been a little sarcastic and facetious a little bit, but today I'm just going to be upbeat. You know, I'm going to just try to look forward to things with optimism because being pessimistic about everything isn't going to get me anywhere. It's not going to move me further down the road. You know, when something's broken, you fix it. And some things aren't easy to fix. You know, that's just the way they are. Some things just don't fix themselves. They're not self-maintaining. And then, you know, I'm sure anybody that's ever worked with mechanic stuff has run into maintenance-free items. Well, maintenance-free means when it's done, you throw it in the garbage. You can't do anything to prolong its life. And I guess the thing is, like, if its life is just as long, either way, I guess it's fine, right? I think a wheel bearing, for instance. If you have a maintenance-free wheel bearing, like one you can't grease, whatever sort of lubricants and stuff it has in it, they last for the length of it. And I guess if that thing lasts like, I don't know, 200,000 miles, 200,000 kilometers, whatever, pick a number, and it lasts whether you lubricate, the maintenance free one lasts that long, and the one you lubricate lasts that long, and they're both garbage after the same amount of time. I guess that's reasonable, right? But it doesn't make sense because you think to yourself, well, you know, if I keep adding new grease or new lubricants to this, I should be able to maintain it indefinitely because it'll never overheat. But of course, you can over lubricate, you can overpack a bearing, and dirt and stuff gets in there. And if enough dirt gets in there, whether you're replacing the grease or not, eventually it'll grind everything down. Or if you overload it, it doesn't matter how well lubricated it is. If you overload it, it just can't handle the load. So I don't know if everybody who listens to me knows what a wheel bearing is, but it's the little thing that lets the wheel spin around. Anyway, keeping those things lubricated and from getting too hot is important. If they get too hot, they will seize up, and if they get too much dirt in them, I mean, just think about putting sand in between two pieces of metal and rolling them around at high speeds, and think what would happen to the surfaces of the metal and whatever sort of mineral dirt type products you got in there. Doesn't matter what you put in there. You put a contaminant in there, it's going to score and etch the surfaces, and eventually they get scored and etched enough that the friction level goes up. The lubricant isn't working right. One of the things I find interesting about lubricants is that they create like a film that the reason why they work is because they are transferring motion between two things, allowing the motion to happen with a certain amount of slippage, with the idea being that they can help absorb the heat, the extra heat and pressure. But they also are able to, if they flow, they're able to like maybe move that heat, like actually move it away from where the hot metals are. But also like they allow the metals to ride on this film between the two things. And so oftentimes the motion imparted is actually being in part going through the fluid. And that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing because when you have bare metal touching bare metal and you move them fast enough, things aren't going to go well. I'll leave it at that. move on from lubrication and metallurgy. Start talking about the things that I hope for. And I think it's a good day. Do a little bit of dreaming. I've got not very much money in my life right now. I mean, I make money, but the money just goes out the door. So, should I be dreaming about things that I might have one day? So this is my picture of what might be great. Hey Dave, good to see you. As I've talked about this before. I'd love to just be able to hit the road and drive places and go visit people that I enjoy talking to. Instead of hitting the road with a hoe and dragging it somewhere and sleeping in a truck stop somewhere and having to poop in a porta potty and wash my hands with alcohol wipes and stuff like that. I'd love to have like an RV that's on the chassis of like a beautiful W900 transporter tractor and just decked right out. Anyway, that's my dream, to have that kind of vehicle. The vehicle is important because the journey is important. Traveling places is really neat. I love seeing the scenery around my country, and I've traveled fairly extensively in the U.S. There's a lot of beautiful places there, and I've been to Europe a little bit, and I've driven around there, and it's beautiful as well. So I kind of like want to get this vehicle, this ultimate amazing vehicle, and I sometimes can't decide whether I want something that's great on the highway and then like just tow my motorcycle behind it, or do I want something, and probably like a little car to boot around in, or do I want something that's like just a go anywhere, like one of those like Earth Roamer type things where you can just drive around, like it's off road, on road, you name it. And I've seen some beautiful ones. I've seen European ones come here. I guess they ship them and then they fly over and drive around here. It's an amazing thing to see. I love it. I just don't know if I want to be in a European cab over. A lot of them are that way. They take military trucks, like a 6x6, and convert them. Cool looking trucks, to be sure. I love the look of them. I love that. I love the sort of rugged military look. Yeah, I hope one day that retirement will come. I don't know when that is. Maybe 20 years down the road. I don't know. I'm nearly 50. I'm 48. So yeah, 68 years old. You think I could retire at 68? Put a 68 in the chat if you think I can retire in 20 years. If you think I can retire in 15, it'll be less than that. I guess like 63. What are the chances I can retire by 60 or 63? What are the chances? I don't fucking know. But I tell you, I'd love to be out on the road, like not just to stay on the road, like indefinitely grinding, but be able to pick up and move somewhere. Oh fuck, is my mic fucked up? Oh no. Oh no. It sounds scratchy, okay. How about this test? 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Mic test. Is it okay now? We'll find out. Trusty Abe says it sounds scratchy. It sounds good to Phantom X11. Good to see you, Phantom X. Okay, it's better. Okay, well, unplugging and plugging back in works for everything. So hopefully, what I was saying wasn't completely gone, but I was trying to just dream about retirement, where that might take me, and maybe what it'll be is like out on the road, my motorcycle behind me, my wife with me, my kids will be off doing whatever they do. My daughter is really interested in going into possibly medicine, which I think is cool, but she might change her mind. She's looking at a few different ideas. And it's amazing to me that my daughter's old enough now to start thinking about a career choice. And in a way, she isn't. You shouldn't decide what you're going to do with yourself too early in life. And I didn't have a choice in my career choice so much, or I didn't feel I did. I might have had one, but I didn't recognize it as a choice. So I went into my father's business and tried to help him run that. And eventually ended up sort of owning and running it myself, which was a real pain in the ass, I can tell you. And now that I'm a trucker, I love trucking. Being out on the road last week was nice. They sent me on one overnight run. It was nice. I went up north. I was talking to my wife about it. It's like, what do you think if we like move way up here? It's like, It's nice, it's quiet, the cost of living is way less for owning a home. You got to drive for, an hour and a half to get anywhere, but who cares? There's nobody around to get in your way. There'll be lots of places to park my beautiful W900 RV rig if I ever get one. So, that's something I want to check into. Can I do that? Should I do that? Would I do that? I don't really know. But I'd love to be able to just get in and go. Hit the road, travel to, maybe it'd be like a bit of a snowbird type traveler, get to the U.S., the southern U.S., maybe sometimes to get away from the snow. Spend some time out in the Rocky Mountains, spend some time by the ocean. Oh, top. Yeah, so you said that you were the same, like you took over your grandfather's body shop. Yeah, and family businesses are a hell of a thing. They can be good and they can be bad, My wife's family has a family business that my brother-in-law runs now. And my father-in-law started it, and I think all the kids worked in it a bit, but my one brother-in-law kind of took the reins there, and I think he's doing a good job with it. But it's it's a tough economy to be running a business. It has been for a while, and I mean that's the great thing about that's the one good thing. I mean, we got an idiot and a hateful man in politics won the election down in the States, but he's going to make the economy just take off like wildfire. So, I mean, that's the one thing we can be happy about is we're all going to be rich. That's what I've been told anyway. But yeah, no, I guess I shouldn't be such a sarcastic asshole. I'm going to try to stay away from politics today. I'm try to stay away from it. But family businesses, I think that's a family business story right there. The thing is, if you start with enough money, you're never going to run out of money. I feel like money kind of controls my whole life. I feel like the stress about ever having enough of it is kind of like a fucked up thing, right? Will I ever have enough money to afford to buy everything I gotta buy? It's a pretty strong motivator to try and sway things in the direction you think they ought to be in. But the thing is, like, if I'm the only person that can afford anything, like, I don't see that as being very good. Who the fuck would I sell anything to if I ran a business? It seems to me like you need an economy that can cycle through things. But I'm no economist. I'm a truck driver. It's just like if people stop buying stuff, people will stop building stuff, and people will stop asking me to bring hose places because they won't be digging holes. It's very expensive to dig a hole if nobody's paying you to do it. Because the machines that dig cost money, the people that run them cost money, the fuel that runs them costs money. And it really doesn't matter if it's electric eventually. I think it might be. Something I like to think about is like when will we get to the point of like energy sustainability? When will energy become something that doesn't control us so much? I thought about that again today, driving home. My daughter had another doctor's appointment. It's worked out quite well that I've managed to get this time off of work the way it's worked out. I've been able to help with a few things, and that's been really nice. And this morning, I've put a fair bit of effort into my fellowship project, and I'm going to be doing a call with my fellows later to work on some things and get some input. I'm going to try to do a few more things with that today. This is something I really wanted to get laid out today in a better way, and I'm feeling a lot better about it. I'm feeling a lot better about it now, but I'm not 100% on some of it. I want to find some borders for stuff. That's kind of where I'm stuck right now. Making it look a little bit more like a graphic novel situation, the way I want it to look. And I want my partner's input on it. He's been very supportive of the aesthetics I have so far, and he's made a few really helpful comments I've tried to follow. That's been taking up my time a lot recently, and today in particular, I put some effort into that, and I hope to share that one day. I also thought maybe I'd mention to people that have maybe seen, if you're Canadian, you're watching this or listening to this, please go look at my community post recently I put up about the cost of inaction in obesity medicine, because it costs a lot more to leave a disease untreated and treat the fallout than it does to treat it early. and treat it universally for people, and not sort of categorize people differently based on whether or not they deserve healthcare. It's something I'd like to push. Anyway, last night I was enjoying listening to DC's channel again, and they were talking about exogenous ketones from this company called Prove It. And exogenous ketones are an interesting thing, and they can possibly help you. Please do not join an MLM. MLMs are not there to help you. They're there to help themselves. And a lot of businesses are like that, except that I think like MLMs go into business knowing they're a short-term cash grab for the people at the top. I hope people can see that, but I don't know if they actually can. I feel like that's not really known. Like when people join up, they must not realize that what they're joining is not a legitimate business. Anyway, I'm hoping so much that DC will join with me on a show at some point in the near future, and we can talk about some of this, and get her to talk about some of the things she's seen as an MLM person herself. She can maybe explain like what the thinking is, because obviously, like when you go into an MLM, you might even understand it's an MLM, but you may not understand what that means. Like you might not understand what the structure of the business is, that it's a pyramid scam hiding behind some sort of garbage product. Anyway, the woman she showed last night, I can't remember her name for the life of me. And what struck me is really interesting is how many people in the side chat also had struggled with obesity or being overweight and had bariatric medicine as part of their experience in life. And it's a lot. It affects a lot of people. And MLMs often go after people's bodies as their product. They're products that change people, and their insecurities are already there. And I'd like people to not be insecure about things. I'd like myself not to be insecure about things. I think we all have this sort of idealized notion in our minds about like what the perfect man, the perfect woman are, and maybe if you're part of the trans community, you probably still have ideals about what male and female bodies are like, especially if you're trying to transition to one that better fits who you are, right? Like maybe you're even more tuned into it than even I am. But yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like so aware that I do not look like the guy in the front of Men's Health. Hey, Tori, good to see you. Is that what I'm supposed to look like? Is that what my wife is looking for? You're on your way home from work. Oh, that's good, Tori. Yeah, you were working last night when I saw you at DC's chat. And I was talking about DC's show last night, like about how these people from Prove It are selling this exogenous ketone product. You drink these ketones, and they're suggesting not by saying it outright, but they're just suggesting that if you buy this shit, you're going to be fit, you're going to be in shape. And they showed a man living with obesity out in I think they said they were in Maryland, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a man like me, like any man who's living with obesity. I think he was very similar in age. I'm 48. I think he said he was 46 or 47. But guy in his later 40s, I guess. Nice man. He was well spoken, and he explained very well like what the issues were in his life, and what that was doing. Yeah, you go to the other job a little bit later. Yeah, Tori, I don't know how you do it. I mean, people talk about how many hours I work in a day and how much that is. Like I told my doctor yesterday, I took my daughter to the doctor's office. My doctor just asked me, because she's been seeing me a lot recently with my lung things. She's like, how is it going? I was like, oh, I went to work. I only worked a half week, like 37 hours. And she's like, what do you mean? That's almost a full week. And I'm like, no, in trucking, that's like a half week. Just over half a week, because 70 hours in a week. Anyway, hopefully I'll be able to get a bunch of hours in this week. And next week I'm going away to this conference. So I'll definitely only be working a couple of days, but I'm going to volunteer to work the weekend too, for sure. If they've got anything, I'll take it just to get some more hours in. I got to just push myself. As long as I don't have to do too much physical work in any one space of time, I seem to do okay, but I huff and puff a lot. Anyway, I guess I'm just rambling on here, but It really worries me. It worries me greatly when people take advantage of people's their fears about their health and their well-being. One of the things that they mentioned, this gentleman mentioned, was about how his doctor said he wouldn't live another 3 years if he didn't lose weight and stuff. This is a scare tactic people use, and it's a terrible scare tactic. If you're a doctor and you happen to watch me, please don't say things like that to your patients. Um, Scaring your patients, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it works for some. It's certainly I know people think their patients need a wake up call. They need something to push them. But these scare tactics, to me, they just lead to more anxiety and depression and sort of a spiraling. I realized today that I'm starting to track my food intake, and I'm feeling really, really terrible about some of the things I eat. I'm feeling ashamed. I'm feeling like there's good foods and bad foods, and I'm feeling bad when I'm not weighing the foods I'm eating, and the scale was not cooperating this morning at all. I'm very pissed off at it. I kept on trying to weigh things, and then before I could write it down, it was going to sleep, and then the tear weight was going away. It was nuts. So I don't have a lot of the weights from this morning. What I do have is a feeling that I'm not just making sure I'm doing okay. Yeah, my sugars haven't gone down too much. I'm feeling a little tired. I've been feeling a lot tired. I've been feeling worn out. I feel like all the events going on in the world are draining, and my own personal life is draining. So I want to be optimistic. I want to think about where can I get to? And I definitely don't want a doctor telling me I'm not going to live another 2 or 3 years because I'm big. I want to have something to look forward to. And I think positivity can help a lot. So I see a bariatric specialist, or I have seen in the past, not technically my doctor at the moment, Dr. Wharton, who I recommend highly. And I'm gonna figure out a way to link people to Dr. Wharton's practice and his stuff. Dr. Sean Wharton is an amazing practitioner, but also an amazing communicator. And science. He does science research. He does actual clinical practice in bariatric medicine, and he's a real decent human being. He's the kind of guy you look at him and you say, okay, this is the guy that understands the whole thing. He understands that love and care and compassion and empathy are key parts of healthcare. And I think this is the message I want to get out to people. So I guess when I'm at this conference, I'm going to be speaking mostly about my knowledge product. But when I'm talking to people in the hallways and the corridors and at the little lunch bars and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to be trying to push on people the idea that having care and compassion for one another in general in society is really good. But when you see somebody suffering with a disease or a bad condition that's affecting their life, helping support them through that is a key thing to do. It's a very important thing to do. It's a very foundational thing to do for good healthcare, is to walk in with respect and consideration for the people you're giving care to. And I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on television. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a massage therapist. I'm none of these things. I don't even know if I could do any of those jobs. Yeah, Tori, you're right. But I'm talking to you. If you work in healthcare and you somehow think that a super tough love is good for everybody, it just isn't. It isn't. I've been buoyed up by the positive messaging from Dr. Wharton in particular, and not a little bit from being his patient, but a lot from seeing him speak and seeing what he's trying to teach. He practices what he preaches. I know he does. And he also gets the message out. He's spreading the message. And this is exactly what I want to do, is what Al Trucker wants to do, is get out and tell people that there's a better way. And a lot of people are doing a great job. We can do better. We can do even better than we're already doing. And there's nothing wrong with keeping on working on that. And Tori, thank you for this. But same for all of us. Tori, this is important advice. Don't just don't kick your own ass any harder than you have to. Well, you know what? That's important. Now, I woke up this morning. I'm going to tell you something true. I'm going to tell you something that came right out of Al Trucker's brain and straight into his brain, his synapses, and was floating around in there. And I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to get my daughter to her appointment, drop her off at school, and I got to come home and walk on the treadmill all day long. Actually, that thought go through my head. And I was like, you know what? I can barely goddamn walk. I'm having trouble walking from my truck to the front door. I'm still suffering. I'm suffering from the soreness and the atrophy of my sedentary life, of my lungs slowing me down. My lung is still slowing me down. I assume it's just the one. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know. I've been wheezy. They've been able to push up my CT scan, though. Because I was at the doctor's office with my daughter, I was able to check on some appointments. So I got 2 appointments, one with a respirologist and one with the CT scan a week after I get back from my conference trip. Which will probably be good. It'll mean I'm working part days or taking a couple extra days off as I work my way back into it. And hopefully by December, I'll just be working normal hours all the time. It's rough. It's tough. I gotta not let it get me down in the meantime. And I can't do it all at once. I can't go from 0 to 60 in 1 second. It's gotta accelerate up there slowly. You don't wanna drop the tranny out of the car because you're trying to go from first gear to what does a car have? 6 gears, 5 gears? I don't remember. I guess that's what they got. Anyway. It's 18 speeds in my truck. Right? It's probably like a 4, 5, 6 speed in a car. That seems reasonable. I think a 5-speed gearbox is normal, right, for a transmission. Anyway, these are the things that I got to think about. So today, I don't have an infinite amount of time. I got to do this meeting later. I got to get some rest. I got to chill out because I'm feeling it. I feel like I got to eat a little bit more food. And what I really feel like is I want to give the whole world a hug and tell that everything's going to be okay and that there's positive things coming. Because it can feel like, because I'm feeling like I need that hug too, but I want to give everybody a hug, a consensual hug, to be fair and to be sure. I want everybody to feel that there's love and compassion, empathy from me and from everyone else about whatever you're going through right now. Because like Tori says, you don't want to kick your own ass any harder than you have to. Well, you know what? My get up and go's got to get up and go at some point. But I got to give myself grace and time to get fully back at it, and it's tough. And I feel like I'm letting everybody down. I really feel that a lot. And I feel like I'm letting myself down most of all by not just jumping right back into it. But I do feel like making slow steps in the right direction is good. And I gotta own the fact that I've been really sick. Like really, really sick. And I can't just flip a switch and get right back to it, right? You can't just change the world. You can't do a U-turn. You can't turn on a dime and just come right back and be doing what you used to be doing. And if other people can't do it, how the fuck can I do it? And I guess maybe I'm supposed to look at other people that do it and just go for it. Anyway, I feel like my voice is getting tired and slow and gravelly and stuff, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to wrap the show up. As I have been recently encouraging people to be nice. Be nice to each other. I also want to say I read something this morning that, and I think this word's overused and abused, and I fucking hate it. But I'm going to say this word: is people are anti-woke, and I'm obviously woke, right? I'm woke because I don't mistreat and abuse people that are different than me just because they're different. I mistreat and abuse people who are absolute hateful assholes. And I should work on that. I guess I should have asshole tolerance. But this word woke, I read this thing and I should have saved it. I should have screenshotted it. It was beautiful because I can't remember the exact words. But they basically said, Woke is the word you use when kindness, understanding, and empathy, and saying that you're against that just doesn't sound right. Well, yeah, that's it. If you're against kindness and understanding and empathy, yeah, fuck you. You don't understand how the world works. You know, there's lots of people that are just gonna get out there and they're saying, "Oh, you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough. You gotta have a thick skin. You gotta be tough. You gotta be able to roll with the punches. You gotta be able to take a little bit of grief from people." Yeah, a little bit you do. But how thick should our skin be, right? You know, at what point should we say, "Fuck that noise"? We can be nice. We can be understanding. We can have compassion. I think we can do that. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot, folks. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for coming by. I'm sorry I'm cutting this short, Tori, if it didn't get you all the way home. I'm sure somebody great is streaming right now. I'm just not paying attention. And I'm really tired. So I'm going to go rest. But thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.